I was raised in the fact that the only one can stop you, my father would say, look in the mirror. There's nobody can stop you from being who you want to be and what you want to become. Just look in the mirror. That's the only person who can stop you. My name is Laniel Matthew Crawford. I'm a personal trainer, own Momentum Personal Training. Been in here for 10 years. Prior to this, I worked in banking for 40 years at Wachovia Bank. I was in IT. Before that, I was playing football at Duke University. Went to Kansas City, played a little bit. I got hurt, ripped up my knee. Went to banking, retired from banking around 50. Came into personal training. I'm originally from Pennsylvania. I lived in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, exactly in the Poconos. Played high school football in that area. Back in the early 60s, 70s, it was all kind of segregated in the north as well as being segregated in the south, which is more hidden up north than it was in the south. My mother was actually French Creole, for one. My mother had red hair, green eyes. So she was white as snow. My father was black as tar. There was no racism in my family, but there was racism all around us. My father was actually born in Macon, Georgia, out of a place called Louisville, Gulf, Georgia. And there was racism there. They still had white and black water fountains. So when we go down there, we understood how we were supposed to act in that environment. You're in the bus, white man gets on the bus, no seats, he says, you get up, give him the seat. In my environment, my brothers and sisters were light skinned. So they looked like they were white. I was darkest one of my family, my father and I. So the guy would walk in and say, get up, nigger. And my brother and sister get up and go, no, the nigger right there. We're the same family. Went to basically a predominantly white high school. At that time, I had a great coach who saw me running one day and said, hey, you're playing for me. I lived on another side of town, which was a black school called JR. And that's basically where I should have gone to school. My coach was white. I met him at a football game. And back in the days, we used to sneak in the games. We didn't have money, so we sneak in the games. And we knew we could sneak in the games when they did the Stars Spangled Banner. Nobody could move. We would climb up a pole, climb down the flagpole on the other side, and disperse into the crowd. And these guys would chase us. Cops would chase us when the Stars Spangled Banner was over. I actually ran into this guy and bumped into him while one of the policemen was chasing me, and the cop caught me. And he goes, leave my water boy alone. He goes, no, he snuck in. He goes, no, leave my water boy alone. This guy kind of ran the town, and I ended up being this water boy. He nurtured me. He kind of took away the racism around me. The first black at Duke was Ernie Jackson, and then we came in after that. So we were the second and third class of blacks at Duke University. Back in the 70s, we played major teams: Alabama, South Carolina, Clemson. Those schools had no blacks. Those areas of schools, and some hotels, we couldn't walk in the front of the hotel. We had to walk in the back of the hotel. White players could walk in the front of the hotel. I had a great coach at that time. His name was Mike McGee. All the players walk in the back of the hotel. One player can't walk in the front. They all walk in the back. A lot of white players grabbed about in the beginning, but then they understood how we felt and what we went through. And that's what bonded us as a team. I had hurt my knee at Duke, then it was kind of skeptical. So I went in as a free agent and then ripped my knee out again. My career was over. You know, you're sitting in a meeting with coaches and everything, they're saying, sit in this chair, it's a wheelchair. If you did rip out your knee again, this is where you'll sit for the rest of your life. It was time for me to go get a job. I got a job with Wachovia Bank, which was, back then in the day, it was good old boys bank, okay? There was very few blacks in the bank. I met my wife at Wachovia. She was white. We were both in management training programs. The management found out. And so they brought me in the office and told her and me that I was impeding upon her progress to move into management, upper level management, fast management. I'm like, what about my career? That particular time, my wife didn't want to sue him. She actually left the bank. But I stayed at Wachovia to fight them, to show that I wasn't going to just leave. Basically, that's how racism was in the South. We have to be careful where we can go out here, even in North Carolina, even today. I've been to places where they refuse to serve me. I have customers that I'll talk to on the phone. And since I don't sound black on the phone, they don't know what I is. They'll ask me, well, that's an unusual name, Laniel. What is it? I said, French. I'm French Creole. And then this guy comes in. He canceled the 3 or 4 appointments on me. He finally comes in on a Saturday. I had a white customer out here standing with another father and a mother. I was training on the other side. The guy comes in and he starts talking to the father. And the father is just telling him all about the gym. And he's enthusiastic about what I've done for his son. And I'm on the other side. Finally come around, the guy goes, I talked to Laniel. He goes, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm not Laniel. That's Laniel. The guy looks at me and says, you didn't sound black over the phone. But I hadn't said a word. My father jumped on this guy and said, you didn't sound like a redneck either. So there's ways you can get back in racism or push back. I treat everybody equal in here. Doesn't matter who they are, how good they are, what color they are. I treat everybody the same. And in society, when you do that in this business atmosphere, you're going to get clients. I found out it's not about color. The world is about color, but momentum is about a family.